Welcome to the FX Money Show podcast. FX Money Show podcast. Where your host, Nick, uses his 30 years of experience to demolish the FX markets while exposing the how, why, and when of Forex in front of your eyes. So take the foggles off, subscribe, and share with your most trusted friends. Pet the cat. Yes, I said pet the kitty cat. Chew some gum and put the headphones on the bone dome. Time is money. And this is the FX Money Show.
Hello, friends, and welcome to iForex.market. Stop right there. Hold everything you're doing. Click the subscribe button. This video is an interview that I just had with Barries, who is going to be a rock star trader. He's got a few years of experience. He transitioned into what we do at iForex, and as he will tell you, it's a night and day difference. It's just a total view of market transparency. And this is what you should have in your arsenal for trading professionally. So enjoy the interview, and most importantly, come back in 30 days after you've gone through all of our videos and listen to what Barry says after his newfound experiences start generating him exorbitant returns. See you on the inside. All right. Hey, Barry, how you doing?
Hey, good to you, Nick.
All right. So we've been playing telephone tag, or at least telegram tag here for a few days, and trying to schedule a time where we could get on a call. And here we are. Now, I know from our notes and our conversation, you've got a couple of years of experience in terms of trading. Is that right? Just 2 years, 3 years or so?
Yeah, almost running at 3 years now.
Okay, 3 years now. And what's your history in terms of the methodologies that you used, and ultimately before you came to us, or before you found me, what was your confidence, more importantly? So if you can, in a few short sentences, give me the description of your prior strategies that you've tried and what your ultimate confidence was at the end of that.
Well, previously, methodology, what I traded was obviously, price action. Wasn't really into the SMC stuff. But yeah, price action, obviously, support and resistance, and fib levels, breakouts, stuff like that. And then, running, when I started, my confidence was, pretty high, but that's based off all the fancy details that these guys give you. But seeing the reality afterwards for myself, it started plummeting to about 30%. Like the stock market sometimes.
Oh, geez, yes, yeah, and so it was about 30% before you came, or when you came to me.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Okay, and what's the difference? Here's a question or two. What's the difference, or what did you see that kind of, sparked your interest in saying, oh, there's something different here? What was that?
Well, the main thing that stood out for me was, there was always this thing in my head that, the patterns and all those things, it can't be that easy. And, it just got apparent to me that, it was all, it's like sales gimmicks, if you want to put it like that. And with your system, that really attracted me was the fact that it's, it's live, and it's not lagging. It's precise. It's based on the sentiment, and I mean that's what we should be trading is sentiment. I've always known that sentiment is a big deal, but I've never known that anybody will be able to plot sentiment. Based off that, you can obviously enter your positions. So with it being non-lagging, and precise, precision entries and stuff like that. That's what really. I mean, obviously the hit ratio is absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So primarily, would you say the precision to it? The precision
Yeah.
and the precision in real time, dynamic nature of it. And
Yeah,
yeah.
it's what you see is you don't have the nice thing about it is the retail traders, you used to sitting in front of a chart for like an hour, plotting everything and doing your analysis and all that stuff, and then when the market opens, it just goes the opposite direction. You're just wasting your time. With your system, you can literally just you can put on your computer, you can just have a quick glance and you'll be able to know exactly what's going to happen. With it being real time, that's groundbreaking.
Yeah, real time. Yeah, and that's been a big focus. Well, it's the primary focus is what is the price doing right now and why is it doing that? And it always came back down to, all right, and this going back, 15 years ago when it was purely price action based, but there was always something else that I had to dive into or dissect or, decompile and then reassemble. And then, when it went to volume, then volume certainly was driving that market. But then, volume is just the instantaneous reaction to the market. And price action is always following that. But how do you know when volume is going to change? And that was kind of the next stage of development. So yes, sentiment is, everything. Volume is always that follow through, and ultimately, if you can discard, the lagging nature of price action, then you're going to be 10-1 better than, or 10-1 improvement over anything, price action based. Easy.
Yeah, for sure.
So you've been with us for going on 3 weeks or a month or so.
Yeah, I've followed you for quite some time now.
Yeah.
But yeah, with you full time basically this for almost a month now. Yeah.
Okay. And what is your confidence now?
At least 70%.
Wow.
At least.
That's
being humble.
Yeah, that's a pretty good jump. And in terms of the amount of time, you've already kind of alluded to it, but based upon price action strategies and trading that way, you could spend a fair amount of time in order to maintain 70% confidence. How much time and what are the typical returns? Obviously, we can't commit to making so much a day, but
Sure.
How much time are you committing to maintaining that 70%, and what is the typical return that you would see in that time frame on a daily basis?
Well, with this type of trading, there's really not a lot that you is not a lot of like with retail, there's a lot of training and books and all this bullshit that you need to do and stuff like that. And with your system, it's I snapped it well, just sort of immediately, but the whole picture got clear to me in about 2-3 days. And then obviously when I took the course, it was just like literally like a week after that, and I was like, listen, I'm good to go with this now. And then what I've seen is, especially with your trading as well, I mean, eating 6, 7, 8, 9% every day, it's like a walk in the park for you. So
yeah,
running it, being moderate, trying to project for 2% per day, I think that's going to be relatively easy as well.
Okay. So in terms of your expectations, okay, so there was something different with us that was precision based and real time and dynamic. what would you say the most difficult part is?
Well, with if I can call it like us guys that don't know too much about the market makers and the institutions and all that stuff, when you get training like the normal retail traders do, you get only knowledge on what the charts are doing. That's it. With you, breaking it down to the bone, telling us and explaining to us why it moves and where the banks come in and all that stuff. That's one thing that I needed to put my head around, because it's one thing seeing a chart move, and it's another thing to figure it out. But you don't have to, because you explain it to us. But to actually know why it's moving, that to me was was very informative. But that's one thing that I had to grasp.
So in terms of let me back up. In terms of transparency, prior to coming to us, in a percentage, if you can give me a percentage, what did you feel your view of transparency was on retail strategies?
Zero.
Zero?
Zero.
Okay. And now, what's your percentage of transparency now in understanding why, how, and when exchange rates move?
No, it's to the moon. It's 90, at least 90%.
That's a huge jump.
No, it's massive. No, that's
yes,
it's insane. It's crazy.
That's a huge jump. That's a huge jump.
No.
And that's where retail traders, will always, or the masses, unfortunately, that's where they will lack. That's where they will fall behind and constantly cause themselves losses, toxic losses, because they're afraid to typically invest in themselves and do the work. I mean, it takes work. Matter of fact, I think I posted a video on TikTok today that there's a difference between success and the grind of generating or building success, and utilizing a shortcut to achieve a level of success. Going through the course and utilizing the tools is kind of that latter component of using a shortcut to find success. But most people, unfortunately, and absolutely not yourself, because you've seen the difference already, but most people are afraid to put in the sweat and the tears and the grind in order to achieve even a level of success. And what they typically want is what traders would understand as signals. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to put in the grind, but they want the results of that on a platter served to them, and they expect themselves to get it. But yet, the people that know, the inside of the market, they don't, we don't sell signals. That's not our business is trading, and that's where it's focused. So unfortunately, and I'm sure you can understand where I'm coming from. Unfortunately, you can tell now, right? When you go through TikTok or wherever it is, if somebody is giving you a line of nonsense from a retail perspective versus whether they actually know much about the markets in the first place.
Yeah.
Because
I'm not even watching that anymore. I've deleted everything that I know, that I've like you say, I'm wiping the slate here. If I see that stuff, I want to vomit.
Yeah. So what would you say if I said, let's come back in about 3 weeks to a month and do a follow-up with you?
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Okay. And are you trading on your own capital, or are you using a funded solution? Are you trading on your own capital? Great.
Mine, yeah, mine.
Great. And
I've got enough confidence now to do it on mine with mine.
Sweet. And that does carry a little bit of a burden, and you tend to become a little bit more respectful of that hard-earned capital that you've got. So by all means, that's better, and you don't you tend not to, and I've seen this all sorts of times, thousands of times where, somebody will get into a funded solution and then, they make a couple of bad trades and typically because they're in a demo account or in a demo environment and they say, oh, F it. They throw it to the moon, and they end up blowing the account out because they know they're at a grind. And again, it comes back to the work. It comes back to paying attention to detail or to the details and adapting to something that actually works. It's just, it's a night and day difference, but anything else I can help you along the way with?
Just keep on doing what you're doing. That you can help me with that.
Oh, I appreciate that. Any questions you've got, because I've got my chart up, any questions you've got on what we do, how we do now, or what we do?
Well, on the physical indicators, if we can call it as such, nothing yet. As we were going live, there was a few things I would have done differently, and I was just trying to figure it out why you took some trades which I went actually in the opposite direction. So, but I think it was this afternoon when the dollar was starting to gain ground on the euro, and it did the cross, and sentiment was breaking on the high side as well a few times, and I think you went short on it. No, sorry, euro was actually crossing on the dollar, and sentiment was breaking to the upside as well, and then you went short on it, and you made a few pips on it, 100%. But I see the thing is the difference between my brokerage and your brokerage. It looks like you don't have any like drawdown on your entries.
Very little.
I don't know if it's like commission based or what, but on my side, if I've got some ground to make up as soon as I enter a position. So as soon as I get to that 2 or 3 pips, and it goes the other direction. That's the one thing I've noticed. For me, I need to get a little bit more than the bigger moves.
So that what is I don't care to know what the brokerage is, but what is the spread that you trade with on?
It's almost 2 pips. I think it's 1.8.
Okay. You probably want to find something else.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
because that is inexorbitantly expensive. I mean, do you pay a commission on top of that?
No commission.
Okay, well, you shouldn't. You shouldn't by all means. But the raw spread for any brokerage that has any sort of volume that's processed through their hub, the raw spread is going to be 0.2 of a pip, 0.3 of a pip at most, right? The cost for a broker to do business, if they've got any sort of volume, again, of, I would say, even as little as 100 million a day, 200 million a day. I mean, that's a small brokerage, but the cost for them should be about as much as about $2 per lot per side, and that's the maximum. That's the maximum. So even, matter of fact, no, let me back up, because we had servers and the wholesale cost was $1, without volume. So even if you're paying $2 in commission plus another $2, so you've got the $4 round turn, right? $4 round turn plus 0.3 of a pip, you should be at 0.7 to 0.8 of a pip, all in, including the spread plus the commissions, spread plus commissions. I'm at 0.2 of a pip plus $2 commission.
Okay.
So I'm a half of a pip and I can pull a profit. So you don't want to be in any sort of solution that charges you more than what they're providing. They're certainly not providing you any analysis. They're only providing you a connectivity, and obviously depending on where you are and regulatory restrictions based upon where you live, then you've got to look at that or consider those conditions. But you should certainly not be paying any more than, I would say, a pip, 1.2 at the very, very, very most.
Yeah. There's some other brokerages I'm looking at the moment. So as soon as I've got big, here in South Africa, it's quite a tedious process to get up and running on live accounts. So I've got that in the works as well, getting that sorted out.
Okay. There are a couple of people I'll make mention to you in private that are from South Africa, and they've been trading with me for a while now. Let me see what they use or who they use, and maybe they can reach out to you and give you some suggestions.
That'll be awesome. Right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So we'll come back in a month, and we'll see where you are in terms of profitability and confidence level, and what your positive and negative experiences are, and we'll roll it on. So Barry, again, thank you. Thanks for the call, and if you've got anything at any time, just reach out to me. Send a message. We'll play Telegram tag for a couple hours, but we'll make the connection. Cheers. All right, thanks. Cheers. Yep, you're welcome. You're welcome. Back at you, friends. So you've heard Barry's talk about his confidence prior and his confidence after coming on board with i4X. You see, it's all about market transparency. And you can talk psychology, you can talk mental preparation, you can talk strategy, and all of those are a component of the analysis itself. Because if your analysis is less than stellar, your confidence is going to be low. And therefore, you can blame your confidence on your psychology and your preparation. But yet, if your analysis is strong, and it tells you exactly how, why, and when exchange rates are moving, well, then your confidence goes through the roof, just like Barry's, right? And he also said that prior to coming on board, he could not understand why exchange rates were moving in the first place. But now he does. And I believe he said 90%. And that is a night and day difference. But in order to see this type of result for yourself, you have to put in the time and the work, and you have to invest in yourself. And that might not be that easy for some people, but for most of us, once we see the difference in the results that we're searching for, then it's a walk in the park. It's like eating a piece of cake and deciding if you want sprinkles or not. Sure, go ahead. So I look forward to seeing and chatting with Barry's in a month or so, and I'm sure it'll be sooner than that. But I'm looking forward to seeing what his results are as he starts to evolve and develop his professional trading skills. So if you've ever traded and couldn't find a level of confidence that you were happy with, or if you couldn't find resilient profits with 70%, 80%, 90% accuracy, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to put you into a course that doesn't cost you anything and allows you to experience that market transparency that very few ever come to realize. There is precision in this market. And now it's not something that most people see, but there is precision. And we show you.
You've just listened to an episode of the FX Money Show, where every day Nick discusses analysis that drives traders' confidence through the roof. Subscribe to the podcast, enjoy the show, and discover your inner trader. The service of the FX Money Show is to provide foundational educational content to trading listeners of foreign exchange and other financial markets. Anything expressed in the FX Money Show by its producers or guests is educational in nature and in no way constitutes advice. You must understand the risks associated with trading financial products and use only capital you can afford to risk.